to Car Traction. Now this video concerns military memorabilia. So in this video I'm going to take you through each individual item and tell you why I like it and why I think it's good, and also a little bit of history about its background. So as you can see, over the years we have accumulated a lot of memorabilia of this type, but I think first up will be my most recent purchase. Now this very nice jerry can, I wasn't actually present when it was purchased. So basically what happened was, Mum was at the car boot, saw it, gave me a ring, and then I said, well, that sounds interesting, might as well buy it. I think it was about £3, so I thought, well, if it's not anything interesting, just a jerry can, it's certainly worth that. But then I found, you can see, it says War Department 1965. Now first of all, I was a bit confused about that, because I thought, well, that should be Ministry of Defence. So basically what it is, War Department was set up in the late 1800s and was actually called War Office, but eventually they opted for the name War Department, and that's why you got the WD, and that's why you also have the arrow, as you'll see, with lots of spanners. But anyway, in 1964 it changed name to the Ministry of Defence. So that's what I thought, well, this is 1965, but it has the War Department, so surely it should say some sort of Ministry of Defence logo. I'm not quite sure what that would be, but the only reason I can think of why this is present is it must have been some old stock that had been manufactured before 65, and they'd already printed on the War Department as a standard thing that would be on any can used by the war, and then at a later date they stamped on that. But anyway, if you know anything about that, then please let me know in the comments. Obviously it's just a quick theory, but there could be some other meaning, but yes, I'd love to know if you know anything about that. Now next up is its older, rustier brother, and I do apologise for slightly weird lighting, as I am currently under some trees, as I thought the camera couldn't quite cope with some of the sunlight. But this, you can see, I will clean this up at a later stage, as the War Department, and then it says 1945, so that's correct because it was the War Department. Obviously the War Department was formed to supply materials for combat use. But anyway, this one is obviously a lot older, so that could be on something like a Jeep. You see the space on the back, and this is called the jerry can, and so is that one. All types of this can are, and I believe the design is still being used today. Now this is because the German army, who were the opposition obviously in World War II, had created such a good design for a can that us Brits thought, and everybody else, oh, that's quite a good design, so we might as well copy it. And obviously jerry was a nickname for the Germans at the time, so that's why you've got this structure here. Now this would have been to strengthen the can, as obviously as it heats up it will have a lot of force pushing on that can there, and obviously you don't want a can to explode because it's got flammable fuel, and that could make your day much worse. Now next up is a can that has already featured on my channel, so if you look at the channel homepage you will see a video on cleaning 2 cans, one of which is this. Now this isn't actually mine, this is purchased by my dad. But anyway, what I found really interesting about this can is it has an Air Ministry mark. Now I don't think there are many other marks of militia on it. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, maybe not. But anyway, I thought that was a really quite interesting thing, and I haven't seen anything like that before. So that's why Dad bought it. I bought a National Benzol can. But anyway, this is just a perfectly normal can. There's nothing to it, doesn't have some nice writing or a nice emblem, but that, I think, just really sets it apart with other cans like this. Now this next rare item really excites me. What it is, and the eagle-eyed of you possibly will have already identified it, is a compressor. But this isn't just any compressor, this is a compressor off that of a Rolls-Royce Griffon engine. Now those who are plane enthusiasts will know that the Griffon engine was used on the later Mark Spitfires, and was also, I believe, used on the Avro Shackleton. So I think that would be off something like that. If it was off a Spitfire, then that would be just beautiful. I mean, imagine having that now and it being used in the war in a Spitfire. I just think it's incredible. So I'm just going to have a closer look at that because I just think it's fantastic. Right then, so here's that beauty of a compressor. Now, as I said before, this would have been off a Rolls-Royce Griffon engine. Now, the earlier Spitfires had a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, which is a very famous engine. Now, it would be even cooler to have a Merlin one because that would mean it's the more iconic Spitfire. But I'm not saying that the later marks are iconic, and the Griffon engine is also very famous. But I think it's just fantastic. Imagine that being used 70, 80 years ago. And now it's in beautiful oily rag condition. I just think that's fantastic. Now, sadly, I do not own this. I'd love to own this. This is my dad's. I think he bought it years ago. But I just think that's gorgeous. As it falls over, see if I can get it to stand up. There you go. Replenished with oil. I just think it's fantastic, this. Now, there is more Spitfire or old World War II plane memorabilia coming up, so make sure to watch this video all the way till the end. Moving on from the gorgeous Griffon compressor, we have a device that would have been used to transmit Morse code. Now, I'm sure this is off some sort of aircraft. If anybody recognises it, then please let me know in the comments. I just love this. I love the weathered writing. You see it still. I'm transmitting Morse code. I wonder where that's going. To be honest, I don't think it's going very far with no back. But anyway, I just love that. The embossed writing as well. It's just a great little thing. So now I'll move on to some of the spanners. So you can see this one here says GPO 1936 or 1938. But the important part is that it has, if focus will work, the arrow right next to it. Now, what I especially like about this is that it only has the one clamp, you could say. I'm sure there's some sort of name for that. You've just got the blank edge there, and that can also be seen on the next example. I'll just move out the sunlight a bit, move it to there, which says 1942, if you can read that. Another one-sided spanner, but on the other side is the important part. As you can see, there is, try and get a better view of that, the Air Ministry stamp. Our next spanner is dated from 1942, as you can see it's stamped on there. Now have a guess, will it be Air Ministry or will it be just a normal War Department arrow? Alright then, let's find out. Well, if you said Air Ministry, then you'd be correct. You can get the focus to work. There you go. There you go, so you can see clearly now the Air Ministry stamp, and also you can see somebody has carved in their initials, which I think, if it's not too scratchy, and that's actually weathered in very nicely, gives the spanner a bit more character. I wonder which one I'll look at now. Let's have a look at this one. Now this one's a bit peculiar, because at first you can see there's no real indication, but then when you look at the back, I'll just move the camera, it says 1944. Move out the sunlight. But also next to it is a suspicious logo. Now I have actually never seen any of this. I believe that says 351, not sure what that is. But what does that say? VWB possibly. And I'm sure that's some sort of department in the military, but if you know where that is or where it's come from, then yeah, that'd be great. So please let me know in the comments if you do know anything about this mark here. Alright then, change of plan. For the smaller things, I think I'll film them on the grass, as it's more shady here and you don't get an odd dappled light effect. As you can see, 1944 with the arrow. And then there's another logo just like the one before, which I have no idea what it is. I feel like I've said this a lot, but if you have any idea what that is, then please let me know in the comments. Here's another one of an Eagle brand manufacturer. Another one of these odd logos. And again, you got the arrow, Eagle brand, then 1950 as it says. Now if you like this sort of thing, please like the video. If I can get, say, 10 likes on it, I'll do another video on spanners. Large example now, 7/8 of an inch spanner and 15/16 with the War Department arrow, dated 1956. Now here's something I could really like. Once again, sadly I don't own this. Now this just looks like a very normal oil can. I mean, it's an incredibly nice one, but if I can get the camera angle right, on there, I hope you can see, it says Air Ministry 1938. Right then, so here's that other piece of aircraft memorabilia that I spoke of earlier. And to the untrained eye, it doesn't look all that special, but as soon as you come over here, you can see that's an oil gauge. Now what this is off, I have no idea, but I'm going to assume it's something like a Hurricane or Spitfire, just judging by the age and other factors. But yes, if you recognise this, I feel like I'm saying this a lot, but if you recognise this, please let me know in the comments. I think that's just a fantastic item. Imagine that you're sitting in a combat fighter plane, or any sort of plane for that matter, and you've got that. I wonder what that's read, or who's looked at this when they're flying. I think the history of these things is just incredible, and that's why I love them so much. And I've just spotted now the arrow on the side indicating it is British. So now we finish on some ammo cases. So you can see that one, it says 20 Nero, not sure what that means. If you know, please let me know. Return case promptly. Property of Thomas Headley or something limited. If you know what that is, please let me know. Go to the left, you've got one here. That's actually of a wooden structure, which means it's different to these metal ones. So you can see it says 303 ball on their 300 cards, and on the top it says 303 CTN. Now 303 would have been quite a small bullet. I don't think it was used in aircraft. It would have been the sort of bullet that a handgun would fire, I think. Mark 7 BDR. I'm sure that's some sort of date or model number there. PG 19.5.54E. And then just below that we've got another one that has remnants of some writing. I'm sure these are American. It must be. But yeah, if you know, please let me know, by all means. Well, I think I've pretty much said all that there is to say about these, some of which are iconic, like those, some of which are ironic, and some of which are just nice to own. Now if you like this sort of thing, please check out other videos on my channel. I think I've got about over 30 videos, so I'm sure those will keep you occupied for an afternoon. But yeah, if you're not already subscribed, please do so. 10 likes on this video, I'll do another video on spanners. Thanks for watching.